Hello, welcome to the Shark Stream. I would hope you know that's what you're here for. Ideally, you know that's what you're here for, that you're here for the Shark Stream. If you don't know that you're here for the Shark Stream, well, let me be the first to tell you, you're here for the Shark Stream. It's me. I'm what you're here for. Surprise. Hello and welcome. It's Wednesday, which means it's time to get in some more NieR Replicant. We are closing in on the end of our first run. I believe I've talked about this previously. The NieR series and in addition, the Drakengard series before it are known for having multiple endings. NieR works a little bit differently in that, generally speaking, most of the endings are quote-unquote endings. Like, okay. So, like, here's kind of where things get a bit weird. The endings, I'm doing big finger quotes for NieR Replicant, are mostly congruent with each other. There are two that are not. And when I say endings, and I'm talking about like both NieR and NieR Automata, and specifically with reference to NieR Automata, I mean like the endings, not like the haha funny joke endings where we fucking fast forward through the credits after you get your little text blurb about how you fucked up. How you fucked up. Essentially, the way that it works is that you get your first ending, which is just straightforward ending. You get your second ending, which is basically the first ending, but with, like, kind of a different perspective. And then you get your two choice endings. You have the option to choose one ending or another, and those are the only ones that really aren't congruent with each other necessarily. Same thing kind of happens in NieR Automata. I feel like I have something stuck under my tongue, and it is bugging the shit out of me. I have no idea what it is, but like it just feels like there's something stuck back there. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, NieR endings. There's also ending E, which usually is an ending that you get by having all the other endings. Which is also something that was in NieR Automata and is also specific to NieR Replicant. Sort of. Technically, the original NieR had an ending E, but it was like book exclusive? It was in Grimoire NieR, which was a collection of short stories from the NieR universe. Which, for the longest time was Japan only, but I believe starting next month is going to be available in the US. So that's exciting. I've got that pre-ordered. But yeah, we're going to be getting the first of our endings today, which I'm very excited for. And then we're going to be barreling towards the second one, because I do plan to get all of the endings on stream before I call this game complete, because like that's just how NieR works. Like, this isn't one of those things where it's just like, oh, I played through the game, I got this ending, I'm done. No, playing through all of the endings is part of the experience. That was a part of the experience for Drakengard. That was a part of the experience for Drakengard 2, Drakengard 3, NieR Automata. You don't just get an ending and then call it, just say, yeah, I'm good, I'm done, we're cool. Right, Raggy? Raggy isn't paying attention, he's staring out the window. There's not a whole lot of, like, gaming news that I've been, like, plugged into recently. There was the recent release of a game called Evil West, which I'm actually very interested in. It is apparently a game stuck in the era of PS2 action games in all the best ways, which I cannot begin to describe how excited that makes me. Like, I read a review of it, I'm just like, this sounds like the perfect game to me. I can't see a single possible way that I would ever like you know. You don't know. I'm like trailing off at the end of my sentence because I stopped to look at Twitter. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. Not a whole lot of big gaming news that I'm particularly plugged into right now. There is one bit of news recently that I was very excited to see. Director James Cameron told GQ that Avatar: The Way of Water was very fucking expensive to make and revealed that the long-awaited sequel would need to rank highly in the global box office charts just to break even. This is very funny to me. Apparently, Avatar: The Way of Water, the sequel to one of the highest-grossing movies ever made that had probably the littlest cultural impact since the Game of Thrones finale. No, I would say that the Game of Thrones finale is, like, beat it out only because, like, it had negative cultural impact where nobody fucking talked about Game of Thrones after the finale. Whereas you still can occasionally see people bring up Avatar, specifically to talk about how it has, like, such little cultural impact. It needs to be the third or fourth highest grossing film ever in order to turn a profit. If that movie doesn't do gangbusters, it's a box office bomb. Which is wild to me. It's wild that you would gamble on the Avatar sequel like that. Suffice to say, I will not be seeing it in theaters. I am planning to see Glass Onion in theaters. Glunion is out in theaters for the Thanksgiving week before it hits Netflix. And I've got tickets to see it on Friday with Natalie, so that'll be exciting. We recently watched Knives Out together, and you know, I fucking loved Knives Out. I think Rian Johnson's probably one of my favorite directors, quite frankly. Pretty much every movie he's done, I've enjoyed. I think there's like one that I haven't seen. I'm trying to remember what the fuck it was called. Alright, let's take a look. Rian Johnson. What have you done? Ah, The Brothers Bloom. That's what it was. I haven't seen that one. Is that one, like, good? Oh, Adrian Brody's in that one. And Rinko Kikuchi? Really? Huh. Box office, critical reception, 68% approval rating. That's not bad. Like, I would say, like, if I know anything about, like, how his... Because, like, Brick got an 80%. Brick is a fantastic fucking film, let me tell you. If you like noir films, like noir detective films, you gotta see Brick. Looper fucks. Looper's really good. I am part of the Last Jedi Defense Squad. I think it is probably the most interesting Star Wars film of basically since the, like, sequel series started. And I think the fact that The Rise of Skywalker was so bad only lends credence to that. But yeah, it looks like The Brothers Bloom being like his worst film at like a 68% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, that's a pretty good run of films, actually. Like, I would highly recommend checking out a lot of his stuff. Obviously, I don't know anything about The Brothers Bloom, so I can't say exactly like what my thoughts on it are. But Brick's really good. Looper. If you're a Star Wars fan, I love The Last Jedi. I love kind of like where it is in sort of like Star Wars canon and like what it does with its characters. Knives Out, super fucking good, incredible, like murder mystery movie. And I'm excited to see Glunion. It's a shame that Glunion is probably not going to be like a movie that I can see multiple times in theaters, because like one thing that I do know about Rian Johnson is that he likes to release like separate like commentary tracks for you to like load up on your MP3 player of choice. I almost said fucking iPod. Like, who has a fucking iPod? People have iPods, I'm sure. And then like just go into the movie theater and just watch it with the commentary. Like, that's cool. I like that idea. I never got to do that with Looper. I didn't end up seeing Knives Out in theaters, but I'm sure he'll release one for Glunion and I can just check it out on Netflix. So that'll be cool. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, we have a video game to play today. But yeah, do your part. Don't go see Avatar: The Way of Water in theaters. Make them lose their money. I think it would be really funny, especially with how much Disney has banked on like Avatar as a concept. Like, there's a whole section of the the Disney's Animal Kingdom park devoted to Avatar. It's a cool part of the park, don't get me wrong. Like, I've been there, and I just hit the wrong button on my monitor. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Needs to realize that I don't have another device plugged in. There we go. It's a cool part of the park. I enjoyed going to it, but like, I have basically no affinity for that franchise, like, period. I feel like I might have said that I was going to do like some off-screen grinding last week, but then I didn't. Anyways, it's time for us to head to the Lost Shrine. And we'll go find out what the fuck Popola and Devilo were doing there, finally. After sheepishly cowing to their requests for us to just go back to the village. We're just gonna be like, hey, wait a minute. I got something to say to y'all. Okay, so where does... Ugh! Hold on, everybody wait. Ooh! So I think, the boat... Oh, excuse me, sir. 1 second. Hey, man.
Oh, there.
Oh, where? It's probably going to make me climb all the way back up the Lost Shrine, which, frankly, I'm okay with. Like, you know, I did it once, I can do it again. I'm thinking about my plans for New Year's. My initial thought for what I was going to do for my New Year's stream, which I guess, like, at this point, I'm kind of trying to make just sort of like a... I guess like a funny little tradition on this stream is just find a game to like play and beat by midnight, you know? And like my initial thought was just like, oh, haha, I should combine my normal plans for streaming on... Oh, for fuck's sake. Hey, buddy, fuck you. First off. I should combine my normal plans to stream on New Year's with my promise to stream Sonic Boom. But, like, I don't know about that. You know, because, like, Sonic Boom is an ordeal to put myself through. And, you know, Sonic Frontiers just came out, and, like, I don't want to, like... It feels like it would be the streamer equivalent of being, like, one of those, like, reviewers that, like, they start talking about, like, literally any Sonic game, and the first thing that they talk about is, like, oh, Sonic had a rough transition to 3D, and then, like, they bring up, like, Sonic 06 completely unprompted. Which is always obnoxious. Like, my dude, that is a completely fucking different game, and also came out 16 years ago. Boo, get some new material. Fuck. Like, it feels like the streamer equivalent of that. Like, hey, this new Sonic game just came out. Let's play a bad Sonic game. Like, I would think that, like, you know, people I know, my viewers, my friends, they know me well enough to know that, like, I am such a huge Sonic fan, and specifically was so happy with the release of Sonic Frontiers. That, like, any sort of, like, engagement that I would have with the Sonic franchise would be in good faith. Good faith towards the franchise. Bad faith towards the particular game, but good faith towards the franchise. I was thinking... So that was one idea I had. Other ideas I had, I was thinking about doing a VR stream. Because it's been a while since I've played, like, a VR game on stream. That is definitely something I would need, like, a guest for, and I guess I just don't know who I'd have on for that. Or what game I would play. I've been meaning to do Doom 3 VR. So, like, I guess maybe that, but I don't know. You know, if it's gonna give me a health salve, I'll pop this. I don't need to deal with any of these guys, honestly. I can just fucking go. Like, what if I just fucking goad? What if I just went, you know? What if I just walked 500 miles, and then I walked 500 more? Just to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. Da 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 da. Oh shit! Right, this guy. Hey, don't do that. Who? Am I busted right now? I feel kind of busted. I feel pretty yoked. And I mean, like, I like that. I think that's fine. I'm not going to complain about being, like, this close to the end game, quote unquote, big finger quotes. And just being super fucking, like, busted. Got my goddamn big boy pants on. Plus, I'm admittedly a bit of a glass cannon. Like, I've got, like, there's all these big dudes that, like, I am admittedly kind of making relatively short work of. But, like, if this guy were to hit me, I can almost guarantee it would do a lot of No, you know what? Never mind. No, I'm just fucking busted. That's fine. Ooh, Maza. Item drop rate. I don't think I've got item drop rate on anything. Do I? There's one-handed swords. Don't really need to... Oh, word edit. What am I doing? Yeah, do I have Iron Will kitted out? Pahol Otkar. Attack power plus 20%, experience rate plus 20%. Do I have anything better than that? No. The way that you collect words is baffling to me, because, like, sometimes you'll get something that's, like, worse than what you had. Physical strength and MP recovery rate. What's that noise? Is someone throwing up? Cats. I've already got experience rate on... I wonder if there's anything... Can I bump up physical defense? Do I have anything for that? Doesn't look like it. Do I seriously not have anything for physical defense? Alright, well, whatever. Oh, you know what? It might not be something that I can get physical defense with on, like, a magic attack. But maybe if I, like, put it on, like, a martial art, it would give me something. It'd be worth looking into. Not right now, because I'm fighting him. Ah. I don't have to deal with this. I can just leave. If it sucks, hit the bricks. That's how we roll here in NieR World, NieR Land. I mean, I guess it's just Earth, but, like, it sucks. Alright, let's see here. Oh, beans. Ow. Alright, we good? I think we're good. Cool. I'm gonna hop on this block. Nope. Nope. We're just gonna go. We're just going. Fuck this place. Let's go say hi to Popola and Devila again. Just be like, hey, y'all. You know, I got all the way down to the village and I thought, wait, what the fuck am I doing? Why did I make that decision? I mean, like, at the time it was a utilitarian one so that I could turn in some side quests, but... narratively speaking, what was I thinking? Hey guys. So are we gonna play this like this is my second time I've been up here, or is this gonna be like entirely new? Oh yeah, here we go.
It's the twins from your village.
Popla, Devila, what are you doing here?
You know why we're doing here. This is your second time up here, motherfucker.
Hey, any chance you'll just go back to the village?
Not at all.
This is a very dangerous place. Even if you can find Yona here, you probably can't get her out.
Hello, Lucas. Welcome to the Shark
How
Stream.
did you get here?
Shh. We're asking the questions right now.
Ooh, they just shushed him. What are you two doing here? I think it's a reasonable question.
What are you two doing here?
I'm not going to answer that. You can figure it out yourself.
We're here to rescue Yona.
We're here to rescue Yona.
No dice, huh? Well, I guess we don't have a choice then. No, I suppose not. How sad.
Neat outfits, by the way.
We didn't want to fight you. We really didn't want to.
You could not. Like, we could just...
What's happening?
Oh,
Sorry,
shit.
but this fate was predetermined. Still, we spoke to truth. We really wanted to avoid this if possible. We were
Ooh.
hoping to put it off for 100 years or so, until the next generation came along.
What are you talking about?
Are they shades?
I don't think so.
It's a lie. I don't believe it.
Damn it. Quit teleprotoling.
We never thought you'd grow to be this powerful.
This is madness. Why do you block our path?
You have no cause to speak so with us, Grimoire Vice. You are a traitor.
Ah, beans. Wait, there's something odd about the main character. He's taller.
What now?
They put him in the taffy stretcher. I don't remember when you've been here last. Hey, don't do that. Leave my book alone.
They copied my powers.
Oh.
Shit on a shingle. They can use the sealed verses.
Of course we can. The power came from us in the first place. You were simply loaned a small portion of it.
Vice, are you all right?
Devila, Popla.
Your voice is doing a weird thing, Vice. I better not ask for details. Anyway, I can't pay attention since the story is happening. That's true. Story is happening. Oh, shit. Stop that. Ow. Ow. Rude. Ow. Stop it. Ow. Fucking. Pop another health salve. Oh, okay, cutscene. Why are you laughing? I'm
The
winning.
answer to every riddle lies within the heart of the Shadow Lord.
The Shadow Lord. So you've been on his side this whole time?
You must search for that answer yourself. You've got to face your own truth now.
Cryptic.
Please, enter the Shadow Lord's castle.
Okay, bye, I guess. And there they go. Obtain the Shadow Lord's castle map. Dope.
Devila and Popola are fighting us.
Yes, they do seem to be putting us through a great deal of...
You'll get there, don't
Okay,
worry.
Vice?
How odd. For long years, my mind and tongue have been my greatest assets. But now the latter seems to be... Hell,
Vice?
do not look at me like that. I am Grimoire Weiss. I am perfectly...
Alright. Well, anyway.
I think I hear a waltz.
A waltz? Oh, yeah, they're waltzing. Ooh, bitch, they be waltzing.
It certainly is a grand affair.
Bunch of dancing bastards.
They're all shades.
Oh, shit. Hey, these guys look kind of familiar.
I think we're locked in.
It's not like I was planning to leave.
Yeah, it's a bit
Oh.
late for that.
Ooh, stabby. Stabby. Oh, stabby. Ooh, stabby. Oolula. Armor break. Okay. That's cool. Stabby. 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 Execution OP. For real. Ow. Podulov. Guard resistance. Okay. Martial arts. Weapons of magic level 9. I gotta... Hold on. NieR, what does it mean when a word gives you a level? Okay. Alright, let me try something here. So, word edit. So that's train HP level 1. Oh. So, like, if I do this... Okay. Ow. That doesn't really seem to, like, give too much of a difference, though, is the only problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Gebel back on here. Oh, I gotta... You're gonna be a problem. You're gonna cause me issues. These guys move basically just like the first bosses, Hansel and Gretel. We don't know that those are their names right now. And we won't know for a hot minute, but they move like that. Ow. Okay, where's that flying bastard? There he is. Give me that. Otsarkin. Ooh. This is an experience rate one. Hold on. Definitely boost that. What do I have on... Oh, yeah. So we definitely want to bump that up. Okay. Hold on, I gotta stabby this man's. Stabby.
Damn it! They won't stop coming!
I'll open the next door. Cover
I've seen art like that.
Oh, how I do love a good
Fight!
Oh, right.
Vice, get your shit
Yes,
together.
good plan. Let's go.
Protect Kaine for us.
Kaine! Hurry!
It's not open yet?
Do I look like a goddamn locksmith to you?
Ah, beans. Okay. Hold on, we got some flying fuckers. Get out of here. These guys only take like a few hits from Dark Lance, which is nice. Ow!
What are you doing?
Lock doesn't want to open? Fine. I'll just break it down.
Stop, you impatient fool.
Oh, she's trying. Good for her. Where is this? Okay. Oh. Damn it. Quit moving around so much. Haha. Gotcha, idiot.
Damn no good bullshit bastard! Open the fuck up already! Ugh!
No, she said the magic words.
Look out!
Wait, what's up? Oh. Oh, they're looking at you. That's almost comical.
These things are freaking me out!
Are they laughing? Gosh, I wonder why they could be laughing. It's probably for entirely diabolical reasons. Up and at 'em, Kaine.
You okay?
Yeah, but we got problems.
What the Shade's doing? Oh, don't like that. Don't like this one bit. Oh, Big Boar. I've tangled with boars before. This is fine. Oh!
We don't need forgiveness, asshole.
What?
Kaine?
Hey, Kaine, what does that mean? Kaine? Kaine, what the fuck are you talking about? Whoop. Aha!
How should I know?
Kaine, are you alright?
I'm fine. Let's just kill some shit and move on, alright? Damn it! How can something so big be so fast?
Kaine, it's literally on the ground.
Damn shit. Oh dear.
Yeah, what's up? Oh, fuck off. What the hell? Oh! A dirge for the hero. Defeated Goose within 2 minutes. Goose? Oh. Whoa. Nice try, though. I'm timing these dodges really well, which of course, now that I've said that, means that I'm gonna fuck up the next one. There I go. Hey, what? Oh, what?
Can you even hurt this thing?
Bro, come on.
That fog. Oh no!
Oh, we're poisoned.
Can't stop now.
Oh, we're
Damn it.
poisoned.
Stay focused, Kaine.
Get him down before he...
Don't
Oh, okay, there we go.
distractions.
Come on! We have to keep going!
Let's go!
Oh, son of a bitch. Stop that. Stop with the poison.
This way! Move!
Oh, okay. Whew. Oh, he's angry. Look at him just shivering and shaking over there. What a goober. Oh, hey. Got the Dragoon Lance. So I want to say that's most of the weapons,
Up here!
like, in our possession. There's a few that we need to get through something we can only do. Oh, fuck me.
Can we deal with this thing?
Ooh, we going. Ooh, we going.
Please hurry!
I'm going. Oh, I'm moving. I am schmoving as fast as I can. Ooh! Oh! Oh, that's death. Oh, that's death. Okay. Let's try it again. Admittedly, wasn't expecting it to be death. Hold on, do I need to pick the weapon up again? I do. Give me this.
Up here!
Oh, I'm coming. I would like to keep moving. Alright, let's just stay on the inside. Let's just stay on the inside.
Please hurry!
Oh, I'm going. Emil, you better believe I'm fucking moving my ass. Oh. Okay. Whew, alright, alright. Hey, Kaine, how's that door coming?
Damn it, I can't get it open.
Oh, we're in trouble. Oh, we're in trouble. Ow.
The entrance is locked too!
Whoop.
It seems we are in a bit of a predicament.
It's fine. It's fine. I've killed this thing like 3 times already. Ow. He does keep hitting me, though, which I'm not appreciative
Strike
of.
the beast while it's down.
It's not down for very long is the problem. And it's back up. Oh, don't do that. Don't make it stinky. Oh, cutscene. Cool, cool. Overwhelmed by stink. Oh hey, it's the King of Facade and the Men of the Mask. I'm surprised this one gave you so much trouble. Let's go. Unseal the exit. Let our friends through. The people of the mask owe you a great debt. And now is the time to repay it. Ha, they could stand to loosen up a bit, huh?
What are you doing here?
My citizens are speaking of your latest adventure. This is the castle of the Shadow Lord, is it not?
You are correct.
Then we have a common enemy. We'll hold this one off. Please keep moving.
But
We are the people of the mask. We will stand our ground until our last breath. I swore it upon Fira's grave. I swore to become a good and just ruler, a king who would protect others from the shades. It's open! Now go! Rescue the one you hold most dear. I wonder if I could just keep going with this. I forget if at any point he just kind of like throws me through the door or what. Maybe I just need to go? I guess I just go.
hey, stop! Let me go! Stop it! Damn it! King, no!
We'll meet again, you and I, once all of this is over. They won't! Until then.
No! Open the door! You can't fight that thing on your own!
It's alright. You have to keep going, defeat the Shadow Lord, and get your sister back. You must once again know the joy of having one you loved by your side. Alright. Now then. Say, how many rules are there about what to shout before dying in battle? 88, my liege. Amazing! How do you remember all these things? Do not despair, my liege. We are with you. I know. Let's try this again. By the honor of the mask! For the honor of our king! For the honor of our queen! I'm sure they'll be fine.
Open the damn door!
Knock it off already. Let's go.
Kaine.
He's fighting for you. And for Fira. Don't let him die for nothing.
Man, if that's how you react when we're upset, I'd hate to see how you react when we're, like, in a serious depressive slump. Good thing that'll never happen. Right? Health salve. Ooh, a recovery potion. Fuck yeah. Health salve. Oh, I can just go ahead and pop one of those. Top myself off. Health salve. Strength capsule. Is there gonna be a save point at any juncture? A magic caps? A spirit caps? Hey, you two. How's it hanging? Are y'all still mad at me?
Devila! Popola!
Oh, look. You made it. We've been waiting for so long.
Why are you doing this?
It began 1300 years ago. Humanity, finding itself on the brink of extinction, undertook a last-ditch rescue plan called Project Gestalt.
Oh, lore time.
Gestalt?
Do you still not remember, Grimoire Weiss? Then let's give you a refresher.
Obtain Project Gestalt documents.
Vice!
My mind.
I don't remember there being any of these vocal effects in the original version, but we're going to play the original version anyway, so we'll find out.
I remember. Devila. Popola. You are not human. In fact. Oh no.
Yeah, sometimes the truth can be a real bitch. You want to finish that thought for him, sister? All of us, every person standing in this room, are mere shells created by the true humans.
What?
What are you saying?
You still don't get it? You aren't human.
So then humans, I mean, the true humans, are extinct?
No. They still live on. You know them as shades.
Oh, shit. This is why there's all those things with shades where it's just like, oh, they seem to be acting weirdly intelligent, huh?
Each shade is a twisted remnant of what was once a human being.
Crazy, huh? Now let's skip the part where you stand there with your mouths agape and just get down to business.
To defeat the Huns.
Wait.
Sorry, but we're gonna be needing that shell of yours. The rightful owner has been waiting for a very long time.
Very.
Please don't be angry with us. We are only doing our duty. Our endless existences have a single purpose: to control the lives of others in accordance with the will of the true humans.
Fucked up if true.
You have your own motives, your own desires. And we have ours. I fear it really is just that simple.
Don't speak such foolishness.
Sorry.
Let's take a look at those documents real quick. Alright. Project Gestalt, Report 0923. As noted in the previous report, implementation of Gestalt mode can prevent the white chlorination syndrome we recently experienced. Transfer of bodily information into civilization-repressed replicants is proceeding as planned, with the genes of the original safely stored inside. Our role as surveillance androids to prepare them for the incurable bacterial disease when the incurable bacterial disease eventually dies out is also underway. So far, this is proceeding without issue. Project Gestalt Report 9182. This document discusses potential strategies for the relapse cases we have observed in recent years. The term relapse, of course, refers to the catastrophic loss of sentience seen in certain Gestalts. This syndrome has defied even our most pessimistic initial estimates and continues to trend upward with disturbing speed. With some relapsed Gestalts beginning to attack replicants, there is an urgent need to take comprehensive action. We remain convinced that an unknown technological defect in the Gestalt transformation process is responsible for the condition, but so far have been unable to confirm this theory. Research of this condition is now our top priority and looks likely to continue for some time. Observer 022, codename Devila. Okay, so we are replicants. We are shells created for the true humans. Essentially what it is white chlorination syndrome was something that happened... Okay, how to fucking explain this? So you remember how at the beginning of this stream I showed the ending E from Drakengard 1. So when the Queen Beast, the huge Barbie anatomy naked figure, fell from the sky and then dissolved, what ended up happening is that the particles that were released into the air were breathed in by humans, and one of two things happened. Either they were given the chance to make a pact with some horrible creature, some horrible elder god race being thing, and they gained red eyes, and they became part of what's referred to as Legion, which was the centerpiece of like this whole war, or they turned into a pillar of salt. That is the white chlorination syndrome that the previous thing talked about. So in that opening scene, when it was July and it looked like it was snowing outside, that wasn't snow. It was salt from people who underwent white chlorination syndrome. Now, as the sort of struggle against Legion started taking a turn for the worse, and more people started what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, as more people were afflicted with white chlorination syndrome, they started looking for ways to stop this from happening. This is when they started using the other particles that were released into the air by the dying Angelus, Kym's dragon from Drakengard 1. Angelus died impaled on a spire above Tokyo, Japan, and released particles into the air that are what, in this world, allow people to use magic. That's why magic is red. The grimoires were created. There's a few of them. There's Vice, Noir, Rubrim, who was a boss fight a little bit earlier on. With Vice and Noir specifically being the grimoires that, with their powers combined, allow for the separation of soul from shell, and then the reintegration of soul and shell. Gestalts, or shades, are the souls of the humans from 1300 years ago. Replicants are the new shells that were created for them. Now, it should be noted that based on information that we know from this game, from supplemental materials, from Automata, not all humans are dead. We are essentially, like, the world that we're existing in right now, the areas that we've gone to, Seafront, Facade, and everything, these are all part of what is essentially kind of like a preserve, or a reservation, essentially. A preserve? What? A reservation, or nature preserve, I guess is what I was thinking of. Where the various replicants are allowed to live out their lives, develop, so on and so forth, in preparation for eventually Grimoire Vice combining with Grimoire Noir, and everything being fused back together. Relapsed gestalts are the shades that have been attacking us, and when a gestalt relapses, it has the possibility to mutate. Which is why we've seen ones that are kind of fucked up, actually. I'm gonna take a drink real quick. And there is a reason why so many are relapsing, but this is causing trouble because they are killing replicants that are needed for gestalts, and those replicants are in turn striking back against gestalts. Project Gestalt Report 10432, Shorthand Minutes of Case 23, Emergency Response Conference Committee Special Meeting. Issue, observed upward trend in relapses noted and discussed. Issue, acceleration of restoration schedule approved. Report, Debate over using codename NieR for a human restoration schedule. Report preparations to launch Vice decoding system for above. Report order collection of guidance and release code for NieR alongside Vice launch. Observer 021, codename Popola. Observer 022, codename Devila. NieR as a character, like the character NieR, is actually a very important figure in all this as a gestalt that has not relapsed. Now, you might think, but NieR's gestalt is clearly the Shadow Lord, because the Shadow Lord looks like NieR. The Shadow Lord is still in complete control of his faculties, so he has not relapsed, but he's getting a little fucking tired of having to deal with a lot of this shit. Oh, and here's where things get particularly important for what's going on. Project Gestalt Report 11242. We have determined that the rise of relapses was due to an unexpected spike in the sentience of replicants, as well as a genetic instability within the original Gestalt. It seems the original's effect on bodies that have undergone the Gestalt process was not anticipated in advance. Immediate action must be undertaken to identify the links between this trend and the original Gestalt, along with its sister, the relapse case known as Yona. The Observer Contact Group is growing and easy, so finding a solution to the relapse issue should be considered top priority. See other reports for more details. Observer 021, codename Popola. So Gestalts are relapsing because replicants are starting to gain sort of like self-awareness in that they are kind of becoming their own person. So they are starting to like become separate from who they were previously. And also, this seems to have some sort of issue within NieR's Gestalt as well, the Shadow Lord. But we'll learn more about that. For now, we need to beat up Popola and Devila. Ow. Ow.
Knowing us, we're the same. Tools in the hands of a master.
No, I'm nothing like you.
Another important note to consider is that Popola and Devila are not replicants. Popola and Devila are specifically androids. Ow. Ow. Hold on. Also, we have our first instance of the Song of the Ancients being used in any sort of a battle theme. And it's really good, actually. Ow. Haha, gotcha.
Devila?
Oh, is she alright?
Devila?
Okay, in my defense, y'all attacked me first. Oh, she's not doing okay, is she?
Popola. Are you crying? No! Don't die!
Oh.
You know, Popola, I understand now why we're twins.
Yeah.
It's because
It's because you're look-alike,
we're
right?
born without souls.
Oh.
Devila, I can't stop the bleeding. Oh God, I can't stop it. This world is too lonely for one without a soul. There's too much emptiness.
Are we doing a bad thing?
Our souls are missing. And yet somehow our tears still work. It's kind of weird. Sorry, sis. I love you. Devil! Devil!
Rip to a real one.
Don't you go! No, no, I can't be alone! Devil!
Hey guys, are we doing the right thing here? I don't feel good about this.
Coppola. Let's stop this now.
Stop. Stop. Now you want to stop?
Oh, you seem upset. Are you upset? Are you mad at me? Hey, are you mad at me?
You have the luxury to stop?
Yeah, kinda.
You cut down my sister like a goddamn animal and now you want to stop? Coppola, wait! It doesn't have to. No one stops! It's way too late to stop! No one stops!
Are you mad at me? She seems upset.
Please, don't do this, Coppola! You
Ooh.
and Devil were like parents to me!
Those two have watched the world wither for time immemorial. The cruelness of such a fate is difficult to imagine.
I don't want to do this! I don't want to fight her!
Stop bitching and start fighting. It's the only way.
I feel good about my decisions here.
No stopping. No stopping ever.
So that's bad, right?
The bridge!
Blast! We're trapped.
I've got an idea.
Oh. Bulbul. Oh, that's not good.
I fear we're done for.
It'll be all right. You know, when I was young, I hated my eyes. And now that I'm older, I hate what my body has become. But there's something else there now. Something like pride, you know? I mean,
Yeah, bro, let your freak
without all
flag
this,
fly.
I couldn't have become your friend. Goodbye, my friends. Thank you for everything.
Emil,
Dog, we're not going anywhere.
For
We're
so
like right here.
long, all I could do was destroy. But now, I have a chance to save something.
No!
Now get going, okay?
Emil.
Don't worry about me. I'm gonna be fine.
Emil! Emil!
Emil! You jackass, get back here!
Emil!
Oh dear. Kaine's so unstable, and Vice can't stop arguing with people. I hope they can hold it together once I'm gone.
They can't.
Well, I guess they'll just have to learn.
Wait, did he say his name?
I want to see you again. I want to see all of you again. Just one more time. scared. I don't want to die.
Damn, get fucked, Popola. Get fucking erased. Jesus. Yeah, it's up.
Mandor hook car hand.
Oh shit. Is that ZD?
Yes, it's ZD.
Oh shit. Thank you for ZD. I have ZD now. ZD is nuts.
Okay, now hang on a second. I gotta take that back.
No takesies backsies. Get out of here.
Don't say ZD.
Get outta here.
Then.
I will say it at every opportunity. Has the Shadow Lord also aged? I suppose that helps reinforce that he's NieR's gestalt. Well, this sucks. Alright, you gave him a slap before. What are you gonna do to him now? This is a healthy way to work out your emotions.
Let's go.
Hold on, I got ZD.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to slow down for me to eat my food. Hold on. Oh, that's hot. Okay. So ZD needs to cool down a bit. Oh, shit. Wasn't expecting that. Wasn't expecting that. Oh, there's a biggin. Oh, there's a few biggins. Let me go for that merb. Alright. Ow. No fair all doing the same attack at once. Hold on. Stab. 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 Ow. Bitch. Realistically speaking, I should probably be blocking that attack. There we go. That's what I'm fucking talking about. I had what I thought was a hair in my mouth, but it was a piece of stringy cheese from the ZD. Shit! Ooh, level 29. Oh, medicinal herbs. Oh, I got a boost from the level up. Okay. I'll take it. Oh, hey, it's Yona. And she seems okay.
Yona!
Hey, dog, any chance you could just give me my sister back? I'd really appreciate it. I'll be your best friend. I'm gonna take the Cape of Shadows and your menacing glare as a no.
This ends here. Strike hard. Hold nothing back.
How can a mere tool hope to stand against the Shadow Lord?
Shadow Lord.
Such a man, a fool. I am nothing like you.
This guy out here like Shadow Lord. I'm doing a good chunk of damage, which I appreciate. Thanks, Iron Will.
Impossible!
The sword, not the My Little Pony character. Although, I guess the My Little Pony character, too? Like, why not, right?
Don't relax yet.
Hold on.
It's not over.
Bam! Get fucked.
Be careful.
Oh, hold on. I just grabbed a huge bunch of ZD. 1 second. Oh, that's delicious. Hold on, man. Hold on. Hey, no fair using my attacks, but like cooler. Ow. Ow. Alright. Ow. Okay. Ow. Alright. Ow.
Vice, you alright?
Naturally, I am as fit as a fiddle.
Ooh, golly. Alright. He's proving very difficult to, like, get close to, is the problem. Whoa. Alright. Where'd he go? Ah! Fuck. Okay. That was rude, but alright. Yeah, get him! Alright, alright, alright. We good, we good. We doing it. Is that, like, the end? Is there another phase to this? Hold on. I think there's another phase. We might be able to start the second run tonight. in all its text adventure glory.
Brother?
Yeah, what's up, Yona?
Yona.
Oop. That's awkward.
Please, just stop. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't need someone else's body. I don't want it. There's another girl inside this body. I can hear her. She won't stop crying. She says she wants to see her brother.
Yona's been possessed?
This girl loves her brother too.
NieR, could you
Just as
chill
much as
for like
I
a
do.
fucking second?
It's
Please.
not right, you know? It's not right that she can't see him.
Ah.
It's you, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, you dropped your... Okay.
Yes, it's me. Let's go home.
I'm really sorry. I don't know what to. I'm so very sorry. No matter what. Just know that I love you.
Huh. Well, what do you suppose that's all about?
Hurry. The shade that possessed her is gone.
Ah, he seems mad. Hey man, are you angry? Are you mad at me?
Kind.
Oh, he's mad at me.
Reach over Yona for me. You want me to understand your sadness? You think I'm gonna sympathize with you? I swore to protect my sister and my friends. If someone puts them in danger, they must stand aside or be cut down. Now come on! Let's finish this!
My guy, I don't think you understand what's been happening here.
Vice, what's wrong?
Whoa. Whoa.
Freaking me out here, Vice.
What are you doing? Come some. Just do it. Strike the killing blow.
I'm fucking trying, my guy. He's moving around a lot, and it's very difficult for me to kind of keep track of his movements. Oh, cool. Did I do it? Are we good? Oh no, we're still going. Vice, you Gucci? Oh, Vice is not Gucci.
No bother. One moment, please.
You okay?
Fine, just fine. Alright, no, I'm not.
Vice.
It seems some headstrong idiot has decided to push me beyond my limits.
I like that line read better
I
in the
should've taken
original
that job as a cookbook when I had the chance.
because you're like, all right, no, I'm not.
Sorry.
This is like much more like fast paced.
Joking. I hate cookbooks.
But
Let's go. Out of the way. I have one final task to fulfill.
Oh yeah, what's that?
where are you going?
Why, to stop him, of course. But after that, it's up to you. Only you can see this battle to its conclusion. I wish you luck, my friend.
Hey Vice, what does that mean?
Can't. I swore I'd always fight by your side.
You are an exceedingly stubborn lad. You know that, yes?
Yeah.
Perhaps that's why I've so enjoyed our time together. But I fear this is where our journey ends.
Vice!
Oh, and remember what I told you about using my full name? Well, forget it. I've grown rather fond of Vice.
I have also grown rather fond of Vice.
Vice.
Excuse me.
I knew you'd come around.
Don't let it go to your head now.
Book. Grimoire Vice has lost all of his powers. Who? Ah, fuck.
I have a reason to live.
Ow. Ooh. Hey, don't do that. A world in flux. I defeated the Shadow Lord. Alright, let's go talk to Yona. Hey kid, how's it hanging?
Is Yona all right? Oh God, no.
Oh, please, the girl is fine.
Aw?
Vice,
Excuse me.
where are you? Are you okay?
I am as well as can be, considering I have lost my physical form. Doubtless my voice will be the next to go, so listen closely. Your sister is safe. Do not mourn her, and do not give up hope. Instead, you must call her back to you.
Alright. Is it that easy?
How?
Use your memories. Recall the times you spent with her. Present her with proof that the two of you live still, and that your lives have meaning.
Alright.
I don't know.
Typical. But take heart. I know you can do it.
Okay.
What's my favorite food? Cookies.
What's my favorite book? That's my magic storybook. What's my favorite place? Home with you. What's my favorite flower? The lunar tear, of course.
Of course.
Okay, one more question. Who do I love more than anyone?
Oh, that's me. Ba 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 ba. Hey girl, hey.
Is that you?
Yona.
Is this my body?
Yes.
Plus about 5 years, depending on when exactly you went under, but yeah, otherwise.
You look bigger than before. Like you've grown up.
I just went through the taffy stretcher a little bit.
I guess you haven't seen me for a while.
Have I been asleep this whole time?
Maybe?
Something like that.
Unclear.
It's almost like I'm a princess from some fairy tale.
Oh, Yona. I'm so happy to have you back.
Me too.
Kaine.
You and your sister. You have a good life, Kay?
Where are you gonna go?
Guess I'll...
You could stay with us, you know.
Thanks, but I'll pass. You know how it is. I got my own shit to take care of.
What do you mean?
Personal shit, alright? Anyway, take it easy, yeah?
Kaine.
Oh, alright.
Look! It's beautiful.
What, the blinding white light?
For the longest time, I heard someone telling me how they wanted to see the light. And now, they can finally see it.
You know, I'm glad OBS doesn't pick up my chewing noises, but Discord still does, so it still activates my reactive image. Huh.
Thank you. I love it. It's so sunny today.
Yeah, it sure is.
Sort of weird that they're showing us a scene that takes place so obviously in the past, huh? As opposed to showing us them having returned home happily. Wonder what the reason for that could be. I will say that the fact that that scene takes place in the past is a lot less obvious in Gestalt, simply because like the most that you have to work with is the fact that Yona looks younger and Dad NieR doesn't have the eye patch in Gestalt for that scene, because the only real difference between pre-time skip Dad NieR and post-time skip Dad NieR is the eye patch. So that's NieR Replicant. Or at the very least, that's NieR Replicant ending A. We got 4 more endings to get. And we should be able to get started on ending 2 today. Now, the way that it works is that essentially you complete the game once, you complete the game a second time, and then you complete the game with all the weapons. All the weapons unlocked, I should say. You don't have to upgrade them or anything in NieR Replicant. Thank fuck. And then, to get the 5th ending, you have to do something else. But I'll get to that when we get to it. But endings 3 and 4, you have to complete the game with all of the weapons in your position. Possession. And then you get like a sort of like option A or option B. And each of those gets you a different ending. Kira Buckland as ... Kira Buckland is in this game somewhere. Kyle McCarley as ... Also in here somewhere. Is Kyle McCarley who I think he is? Who did you voice, my guy? Oh yeah, he is exactly who I think he is. I will say that I'm kind of glad that these credits are in alphabetical order, considering the fact that it allows me to know how far into the credits we are. So it's just like, oh hey, we're on the R's, which means that we gotta be getting close. But yeah, NieR Replicant is really good. I know that, like, at the very least, the first couple times that, like, NieR games have come out, like, part of the issue, like, especially with, like, Gestalt, like, for any, like, reviewer who was able to, like, power past the phishing shit, an issue with NieR is definitely the fact that, like, the first time that you finish it is not the end of the game, because there's so much more. And, like, it's a similar thing with NieR Automata, where it's just like you had people who's just like, oh yeah, NieR Automata was really good. Short game, though, because they didn't bother doing, like, the second playthrough or continuing to, like, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th endings through that. So you had people reviewing the game based on kind of an incomplete view of it, which is unfortunate. Oh, we done? Cool. Dope. Alright. Saves my game. And there's our ending. Enter the clear data, exit the clear data save screen? Yes. Ending B. Load your clear data after completing the game to experience Kaine's story. Call her back. You viewed the first ending, ending A. You can now read a departed mother's diary in your house. So this is the DLC from the original release of the game. So in the original game, because this was DLC, the weapons in it weren't required to get the last ending or the final two endings. But in this game, because it's built in, you do need to get them. Wardrobe has been added to the options menu. New outfits can be obtained by progressing through a departed mother's diary. Change music has been added to the game settings section of the options menu. Change music. Hold on. What does that mean? Let's fucks with the options just real quick. Wardrobe. Game settings. Sound, I guess? Change music. Change the game's background music to tracks from NieR Automata. Ooh. Yeah, I'll go with that for a little bit. Let's fucking do it. Why not? Ooh, that's kind of nice. I like that. So let's see what happens when we reload and we experience Kaine's story.
Whenever I interacted with Kaine, I was reminded about something from my past. Maybe my mind has been confusing her with my sister this whole time. Anyway...
But we don't have time to unpack all that. So there's a number of differences between Kaine's dreams, discrimination. A number of differences between ending A route and ending B route. And this is one of the first ones. So welcome to the Sharkstream Book Club. The sound of rain filled the village. The steep cliffs that surrounded the area magnified sound, causing even the slightest drizzle to rattle like a thunderstorm. Thin wisps of smoke streamed from huts as the villagers huddled in their homes and waited out the rain. A single child, however, had braved the downpour and was now wandering slowly toward the wooden, hawk-shaped weather vane at the center of town. The wanderer reached the vane, which had existed for as long as any could remember, and stared. The child's face was simultaneously delicate and fierce, like a teacup that had survived a shipwreck. Those traits combined with pale white skin to give the face an almost sexless quality. If the beak turns east, I go home. If it stays west, then I... Child blinked. Rain slowly dripped down the young one's short hair and began its long descent to the ground. Come on. Come on! Child felt a slight breeze and watched as the veins slowly creaked to life. Spinning this way and that for a moment, it finally settled with the beak pointing firmly toward the east. East? Really? Before the vein could move again, a jagged rock came spinning and tumbling through the air, striking home against the child's head. The force of the blow dropped the child to the ground as a hail of stones began to fall all around. Oh no, they found me. A heartbreaking smile crept across the child's face as the stones continued their assault. Through the rain, the sound of multiple footsteps grew louder before a voice rang out. Yoo-hoo, Kaine! The voice belonged to Demo, worst of all the bullies in the area. As Kaine struggled to stand, a final stone came skittering through the mud and bounced against her foot. Blood oozed from a cut above her eye and blurred her vision, but she could make out the shapes of Demo and his usual gang of idiots. The boy seemed taken aback for a moment by Kaine's seeming indifference to the blood dripping from her face, but quickly regained his bravado. What's up, freak? You like the rain? You like getting all wet? Or did you finally decide to run away from home? Though she knew it was futile, Kaine turned to leave. Before she could get more than a few steps, the other children scrambled to surround her, cruelty burning in their eyes. Kaine knew those were not the only eyes on her. The tormentor's parents watched from the safety of their homes. She was attuned to this sensation. It was one she had experienced many times before. While some villagers simply turned a blind eye to the actions of their children, many encouraged it openly. I'm going to make a gross noise real quick. 1 second. In a society ruled by superstition and fear, Kaine was something to be hated and, if possible, destroyed. I didn't say you could leave, freak. Demo's words chewed at her like a worm through an apple. He can't hurt me, she lied to herself. Be strong. Be brave. He can't hurt me. He can't hurt me. He can't hurt... Oh, look! The little freak is gonna cry. What's wrong? Are you sad that everyone hates you and wants you dead? Kaine prayed for the rain to flood down and carry her away from a world that seemed to have no place for her. But if there were gods, they chose to ignore her. As Demo crept ever closer, the clouds began to thin and the rain slowed. Even the weather hates me. I'm useless. A failure. I wish Demo's rock had taken my head off. Kaine couldn't meet Demo's leering gaze. She lowered her eyes and stared at the muddy ground below. The bully moved forward until he was inches away. She could smell the scent of old meat on his breath. The boy grabbed Kaine's face with thick fingers and yanked it upward. She tried to turn away, but he forced her gaze back and jammed his thumb against her eyelid to pry it open. Show me. No. Did you just say no? Demo grinned evilly. You don't say no to me. No one says no to me. Not even taking his attention from Kaine, he called to his cohorts. Come on, guys. Let's give the freak what she deserves. As soon as Demo finished, kicks and blows began to rain down upon Kaine. Demo paused, still grinning, as Kaine curled into a ball and tried to make the pain stop. I don't get you, freak. What you acting like a girl for, huh? Everyone knows what you really are. Kaine ignored the question, choosing instead to stare at the weather vane. Continued to point east, as if supremely confident about the future it had chosen for her. Go home? Yeah, it's a funny joke for someone with dead parents and no home to go to. Freak, chanted the children. Freak, freak, freak. Kaine closed her eyes and listened to the rain, waiting for the pain to start again. As the clutching hands of the village children closed around her, she bent her mind to the sound of the rain, letting it become her world entire. The rain fell, but the pain never came. Only when the laughter of her tormentors turned to terrified cries did she dare open a single blood-caked eye. Kaine was shocked to see Demo sprawled on the ground, holding his head and screaming in pain. She could see blood welling from spaces between his fat, twisted fingers. Oh my god. He's crying. He's actually crying. Deprived of their leader, the other children glanced back and forth between themselves, as if waiting for someone to step forward and take charge. When no savior emerged, they began an uneasy shuffle away from Kaine. But the young girl was the least of their concerns. Instead, their attention was rapt on the ancient woman standing a few feet away. After struggling for breath for a moment, she finally spoke in a voice thick with rage. Hurts like a bitch, don't it? Now I suggest you scatter before I throw another one. And if any of you little bastards ever touch my Kaine again, I'll do far worse than throw a rock. You can count on it. The old woman crouched down and gently touched the hand Demo was using to cover the wound. Before he could think to protest, she ground her palm into the wound and twisted back and forth. Ow! He screamed, leaping to his feet. Stop it! What are you doing? Quit whining! Ain't no one ever died from a scratch. You hit me with a rock, you stupid bitch! A big one! That thing could have killed me! The old woman shrugged. Death is the best cure for stupid. Demo's face twisted with rage at her words. Locking his eyes on Kaine, he took a step backward and spat on the ground. Get out! Leave this village! No one wants you here! Either of you! Seeing the old woman grab another stone, Demo and his companions turned tail and ran. As they fled, the old woman grabbed her side and barked out a single laugh. Ha! Look at the fat boy go! Guess he's healthy enough to run from a fight. The woman's smile faded as she turned her attention to Kaine. Kneeling down, she removed her shawl and placed it around the young girl's shoulders, then produced a cloth from the folds of her dress and began blotting at the blood on her forehead. Oh, Kaine, she said. Why didn't you fight back? You're stronger than that lot. The words of her grandmother stung Kaine, and she turned away. Don't be nice to me, she said. I don't deserve it. Nothing matters anymore. Her tears, held in check for so long, finally began to fall on the muddy ground below. Everyone hates me. They think I cause bad things to happen. They think I'm a freak. I wish I was dead. As Kaine's tears turned to sobs, she felt her grandmother's hands on her shoulders. Despite her advanced age and diminutive size, she was a woman of surprising strength. Kaine found herself unable to turn away. Don't talk like that, girl. It's a river wide and deep that flows between the realms of this world and the next, and it grants no mercy to any that attempt the crossing. You got a duty to fight until your last breath. Understand? The old woman tightened her grip and tried to still the tremor in her voice. You know the pain of losing someone close to you, Kaine. You know because you survived it. As the words hit home, Kaine was struck by the force of her love for the old woman. As a young child, she didn't even know of her grandmother, but when her parents died, the woman quickly accepted her as her own. Grandma, as Kaine called her, was cunning, vulgar, and quick to violence. Their first few years together had not been easy. But with each year that passed, Kaine and her grandmother had grown closer. However, it was only now, sitting in the mud with tears and blood caking her face, that Kaine truly understood the depths of her affection. Here was a woman who had seen hard times, who had seen death, who had fought through all these things, and somehow emerged on the other side. If anyone could understand Kaine's pain and loneliness, it was her. Do I make you sick, Grandma? Course not! Don't be an ass! Kaine drew her grandmother's moth-eaten shawl around her body and shuddered. But my body, it's not normal. If I was normal, then Mom and Dad wouldn't... Hush, interrupted Grandma. I'll not hear another word of this nonsense. You're my granddaughter, and I love you. And if folks have a problem with that, they can just go to hell. With that, the old woman reached out and placed a wreath of dried flowers in Kaine's hair. The skill it took to bend the flowers without breaking the stems or losing a single petal was remarkable, and the beauty of it made Kaine want to cry all over again. Oh my gosh, these are lunar tears. Grandma, you made this for me? Lunar tears were legendary flowers. Most people could live their entire lives without ever seeing one, and yet her grandmother had somehow collected a dozen or more. Kaine reached up and touched the wreath, as if she couldn't believe it was real. Where did you find these? Just stumbled on them while I was out doing the shopping. The old woman turned away as she spoke, leading Kaine to suspect that the search had been more difficult than she was letting on. The pains she took to construct the ornament, let alone track down the flowers used in its construction, made Kaine's heart hurt. She reached up and gently adjusted the wreath, admiring the way it felt between her fingers. Didn't quite turn out right, said her grandmother as she squinted at it. These old hands have trouble with delicate work, but it sure looks good on a pretty girl like you. Kaine blushed and turned away. You think I'm pretty? Of course you are. What a fool thing to say. Thank you, Grandma. Her grandmother smiled. We're gonna be fine, you and me, she said. Long as we got each other, we'll be just fine. Kaine took her grandmother's hand in hers, and the two of them struggled to their feet. As they began a long walk home, Kaine gripped the hand with all her might as if trying to stop smoke from drifting away on the wind. The rain had stopped. Kaine stood between the weather vane, beneath the weather vane, watching it spin in lazy circles, no longer caring about the direction it faced when it stopped. I don't need to escape. I have a home now. Grandma loves me, and that's enough. Even if it's us against the world. Kaine let her gaze drift up past the vane into the cloudy sky. The last faint hints of a rainbow were slowly fading. As she turned and headed for home, the lights scattered into a million particles and vanished, seemingly taken away on the breeze. Kaine's dreams. Daily life. In the distance, Kaine heard the steady sounds of an axe striking wood. The noise had a purposeful quality to it, as if she was hearing a master woodsman go about his work. The firewood being produced, however, was far from a work of art as could be. Pieces of every shape and size were being flung about a barren yard with wild abandon. Anyone trying to stack such wood would probably die of frustration before the job was through. Stupid piece of shit axe! Kaine's grandmother flailed away with the axe, filling the air with both splinters of wood and words that would make the most hardened sailor blush. Grandma, called Kaine. That you, Kaine, yelled the old woman, taking her eyes off the wood for a moment. Don't get too close or I might take your goddamn foot off by mistake. She brought the axe down on a piece of wood, sending chips flying in every direction. One spun past Kaine close enough for her to hear the whistle, at which point she decided to step back. Once she scuttled to a safe distance, she cupped her hands around her mouth and shouted, Grandma! Do you need help? Do you need help? I can get you water or lunch or a new axe or something. The axe, poised to strike another wobbly blow, paused in midair. The old woman considered her granddaughter's offer for a moment, then smiled. Tell you what, since I'm doing such a piss-poor job of chopping, why don't you come here and take over so I can go get the water? Shades have been restless lately, and I don't want you running into one of them bastards. Relinquishing the axe, her grandmother picked up a long pole with wooden buckets on either end. Gathering water was by far the more difficult of the two jobs, but Kaine knew better than to complain. Once Grandma's mind was set, there was no changing it. Kaine did her best to help with the chores, but Grandma took every task that required travel to the village. Though she had a long list of plausible excuses, Kaine knew the real reason. She didn't want her granddaughter to be taunted and harassed by the villagers. Once Kaine moved in, Grandma decided to take up residence a good distance from the Eyrie. Out of sight, out of mind seemed to be the best policy when it came to the villagers and her granddaughter, and rare were the days when any but the two of them could be found on the rocky acre of land they called home. Kaine enjoyed the solitude, but harbored a secret resentment that her grandmother was forced to spend her golden years at such a place. After watching her grandmother leave, Kaine turned her attention to the task at hand. She had never chopped wood before in her life, and soon discovered why the old woman hated the chore. Swing after swing of the axe produced only a tiny crack in the wood, and when she finally managed to connect with a solid stroke, the tool embedded itself in the log and refused to budge. Frustrated, Kaine swung the axe around her head and threw it, log and all, across the yard. Damn it! Crap! She suddenly understood the joy her grandmother felt and a good curse. Happier now, she picked up the axe, forced it from the wood, and resumed chopping. She had a natural skill with the blade, but the task was challenging, and blisters soon began to form in her small pink hands. This is tough. My logs are all weird sizes. Spitting on her palms and ignoring the pain, Kaine redoubled her efforts. Just as she was developing a rhythm, Grandma returned from the village. Setting down her buckets with a small sigh, she took one look at the logs and coughed out a wheezy laugh. Pretty clumsy, girl. You'd better practice if you... Her grandmother suddenly collapsed to her knees, causing one of the buckets to wobble precariously. Eyes wide, Kaine dropped the axe and ran to her grandmother's side. Grandma! The old woman shook her head and pointed a trembling finger at the bucket. Get the bucket. Can't let it spill. Kaine steadied the bucket with a foot as she knelt by her grandmother. A small bit of water sloshed over the side and made a new home in the hem of her dress, but Kaine didn't notice. Grandma, what's happening? Crazed with panic, she grabbed her grandmother by the shoulders and shook. After a moment, the woman lifted her arms and batted Kaine away. Stop that! Just stop! She cried, breathing heavily. It ain't like I'm dying. Just tired from the trip is all. Kaine desperately wanted to believe her, but one look at the old woman's shaking hands and worn face told her more than words ever could. Her grandmother had lived a long, hard life, and it seemed the bill was finally coming due. The time when her grandmother watched over Kaine was ending. Sooner than either of them had feared, the positions would be reversed. The next morning, Kaine came to the side of her grandmother's bed and took her wrinkled hand, and I just knocked over a bunch of shit. God damn it. I need a bite to eat. Give me a second. Gotta get some of this. Delicious. Grandma, you're sick, and you need medicine. I'm going to the village. The old woman shook her head and tried to rise, but Kaine gently pushed her down. It's all right, she said. I'll be fine. Her grandmother fixed her with a gaze that could melt steel. After what seemed like an eternity, she finally lowered her eyes and sighed. Well, I don't like it, goddammit. I guess I should quit being so stubborn and let you grow up. The old woman watched as Kaine strapped on her boots and made her way down the road to the village. Hours later, as an unseen sun made its way across a dark and rainy sky, she was still watching. Kaine moved at a brisk pace, checking her pockets every few minutes to make sure the money her grandmother gave her was still there. Every noise caused her to spin on her heels, making sure she wasn't being stalked by a shade, or worse, Demo and his gang. But she encountered neither tormentors nor shades, and kindly finally found herself at the entrance to the village. The few adults she could see glanced sideways at her, then muttered to each other behind raised hands before slinking away into the shadows. Her heart racing, Kaine took a series of rapid, shallow breaths and tried to calm herself. I have to prove myself. I have to help Grandma. I have to be strong. She chanted these words to herself over and over as she slowly made her way. Finally, her eyes settled on a rotund older woman who was angrily waving her arms in the air and telling anyone who would listen exactly what she thought of Kaine's presence. Hey lady, said Kaine with a bravado she did not feel. Where's the apothecary? The woman's flabby cheeks shook in bewildered anger. How dare this thing speak to me, they seemed to say. But Kaine saw that her eyes held a different emotion. Fear. Yeah, we're both scared, lady. Trust me on this one. Which way? Kaine repeated. The woman pointed a small building to her right before hitching up her dress and stumbling off in the other direction. Kaine cringed, expecting a stone to come flying from the assembled crowd, but none came. Her mind was filled with a strange sense of pride as she made her way to the apothecary, but the new emotion had little time to take root, for as soon as she opened the door, she noticed a familiar customer at the counter. It was Demo. He'd clearly been sent here on some kind of family errand because his gang of followers was nowhere to be found. Oh my god, he sputtered. What are you doing here, freak? The insult was delivered without force, and Kaine happily ignored it. Stretching on tiptoes to see over the counter, she asked the shopkeeper for the medication. Ha! Barked Demo. That old bitch finally keel over? Go to hell, Demo. The boy's eyes grew wide, so wide they seemed ready to fall out of his head. But before he could let fly a comeback, or worse a punch, the apothecary told them to knock it off before he kicked them out of the store. Demo slunk out of the shop, cursing Kaine under his breath. Once he was gone, she allowed herself to breathe once more, taking a brief tour of the shop while the owner prepared her medication. Countless tiny bottles filled the cramped store, each with a label written in some indecipherable language. An ocean of aromas assaulted her nose, creating a scent that was exotic, but not altogether unpleasant. Seeing such a wide variety of supplies gave Kaine a sense of peace. Surely, in a world so vast, there would be a place that she could call home. On the far wall behind the counter rested a portrait of a stunning young girl. The picture had once contained bright, vibrant colors, but time had worked its cruel magic, and they were beginning to fade. The beauty of the work, however, remained undiminished. You like that picture? Kaine turned to find the apothecary with a small vial of medicine in his hand. His eyes were gentle but sad, and they seemed to stare through her and into nothing as he spoke. That's my daughter. I sketched it when she was just a little girl. She's been dead a long time now. Kaine didn't know how to respond. She just stared at the portrait and tried to come up with the right words. Pictures are wonderful things, continued the shopkeeper. They let the ones closest to you live on forever. He shook his head slightly, then looked down at Kaine and smiled. Handing her the medicine, he reached into his sizable green apron and produced a handful of old wax crayons. You should have these. There's no one left that I wish to draw. Kaine took an instinctive step back, causing the shopkeeper's face to darken. Yes, I've heard the rumors about you, he said. It's a small village, and word travels quickly. Between you and me, I'm not sure which of them to believe, but I also don't think they matter much. I know your grandmother, Kali, and I think the way she was driven out of this town is just deplorable. Grandma's name is Kali, thought Kaine suddenly. She was still mulling this new fact over in her mind as she reached out and gently took the crayons from the apothecary's hands. Your grandmother is an old friend of mine, he said as Kaine scooted away yet again, and I owe her much. I wager she would like it if you drew a picture of her. Yes, I think she would like that very much. Kaine murmured a quiet agreement, but inside her heart was bursting. Never before had a villager treated her with anything but complete contempt. It was a tiny, almost imperceptible step, but it was a step nonetheless. And with enough tiny steps, she might one day discover the rest of the world. When Kaine returned home, she found her grandmother asleep on her bed. Her feet were blackened and raw, even bleeding a bit in places, leading Kaine to think that she had been pacing around the room with exhaustion, until exhaustion finally caught up with her. She placed the medicine by her grandmother's pillow and turned to leave, but found the old woman's hand clasped around her arm. Back already, are you? Asked the grandmother with a yawn. Come here, let me have a look at you. Grandma sat up and examined Kaine from head to toe. Finally satisfied that nothing terrible had befallen her grandchild, she leaned back and allowed herself to relax. Well, how was it? Those bastards give you any trouble? It was kind of fun, said Kaine with a small smile. No, seriously, it was. Fun, hey? Asked her grandmother in a voice which implied she believed anything but. Uh-huh. So anytime you need me to run an errand, just let me know. As she spoke, Kaine removed the crayons from her pocket. After a brief explanation of their source, she informed her grandmother that she was going to sketch her portrait. A portrait of me? Ridiculous. No one wants to stare at a wrinkled old crone. But Grandma, it'll make you live forever. Horse shit, said her grandmother, throwing back the sheet from her bed. Living forever would just piss me off. Now put those crayons away and help with dinner. But Kaine would not relent, and in the end, Grandma found herself leaning against the wall of their house as if posing for a master artist. Kaine took up the crayons, eyed her subject carefully, and set to work. Just as her grandmother was about to nod off, Kaine finished the piece. After staring at it for a bit, she released it from her grip and let it slowly drift to the floor. It's terrible. It doesn't look like you at all. I'm sorry, Grandma. I thought these crayons would, make drawing easy or something. The old woman's eyes narrowed at her granddaughter's disappointment. Let me be the judge of that, she said, ignoring the pain in her back and reaching for the paper. The sketch could have been a person's face. It also could have been a boulder, lump of clay, or an incredibly misshapen loaf of bread, all rendered in a chaotic array of colors. The old woman stared at the picture for a long time, then slowly wheezed out a laugh. Oh, Kaine, she said between laughter. You truly are my blood. You're as clumsy as me, and I love it. But, hush, I won't hear any more bull about how ugly you think it is. It came from the heart, and I'll treasure it always. True to her word, the old woman gave the picture a place of honor above the kitchen table. In the days that followed, Kaine would often catch her staring at the portrait with a strange smile on her face, an action she interpreted as silent, mocking laughter. A week later, Kaine could stand it no more and asked her grandmother to take the artwork down. Posh, said the old woman. I'll take this down when they roll me in my shroud. She pondered this for a bit, then turned to Kaine and dropped to one knee. Listen to me, girl. Seeing this picture makes me happy in a way I've never felt before. And it makes me want to go on, so that someday you can feel the same happiness. It was a moment that burned itself in Kaine's memory, a perfect blend of pride and love and joy that came together to form a lifelong remembrance. She swore to never forget this moment, to never forget the old woman who had made her place in the world possible. Time moves on. People and memories move in and out of a life like ghosts passing through a hall. But this moment will be different, Kaine swore, because I will remember it forever. Forever. Kaine's dreams. Separation. Kaine listened to the sound of crackling firewood and stared at the black object on her plate. She'd been pushing it around the wooden disc for a good 10 minutes, ignoring the bemused stare of her grandmother. Finally, she summoned the courage and gave the object a brief sniff. A sharp, bitter scent flew up her nostrils and made its home there, causing her face to twist with disgust. Grandma, I can't believe you want me to eat a bug. The old woman threw some more wood under the cooking pot and snorted. It's no bug, you fool girl, it's a berry. Why the hell would I be feeding you bugs? Yeah, well, it sure looks like a bug, said Kaine. I think it's burnt or something, because it smells terrible. With that, Kaine held her nose and threw the berry in her mouth, chewing as little as possible. Oh yeah, that's terrible, all right. Why, you little brat, laughed the old woman. Look at the sass on you. You've been spending too much time with me, and that's a fact. 5 years had passed since the moment when Kaine's grandmother saved her from the bullies. As is often the way with two stubborn people, their relationship had grown in fits and starts, but moved forward all the same. Meals that used to be somber affairs were now filled with laughter, and hurled abuse in equal measure. Kaine could not remember a time when she had been happier. As the years went by, Kaine started to shoulder more and more of the daily responsibilities. Her grandmother's legs grew weaker by the day, and she could no longer do many of the chores that she used to take for granted. And so this morning found Kaine lacing up her work boots with a breakfast of burned berry rolling through her belly. Where are you going today? Asked Grandma suddenly. Kaine looked up, surprised. The old woman rarely asked for specifics anymore. Well, I was going to check out the kelma trees and see if they were ripe. I thought we could make some jam or something. Oh, and I'm going to pick up some flagstones, so I need to take the wheelbarrow. Flagstones? What the hell for? Annie stared at her grandmother, then held out an arm and swept it around their home. Constructed mostly of cloth, rope, and rubble, the old place sagged like a boxer in the final round. Grandma, a dying cat could chew through this house. I'm going to build a stone wall so we have some protection. The old woman laughed, exposing her toothless grin to the world. Goddamn girl, if a bunch of thieves wanted to ransack this old place, let them come. We got nothing worth stealing anyway. I'm not worried about thieves, I'm worried about shades. People saw one west of the village yesterday. The old woman tilted her head and stared at her granddaughter. Well, shoot. I don't know why you have to do it today. You can worry about it some other... Grandma, no. If I don't go to the Calmetrees, we won't eat tonight. You know that. A confused expression passed across the old woman's face, and for a moment she was a small child lost at a carnival. Yes, she said after a bit. Yes, of course, you're right. I'm sorry, Kaine. Lately it seems my mind is... She didn't finish the thought, instead walking over to her nightstand and gently taking the wreath of lunar tears from the drawer. The flower's petals had aged to a brilliant whiteness, and Kaine thought it was more beautiful now than the day she first received it. You're gonna be a true woman soon, Grandma said as she placed the flowers in the girl's hair. That means less chatter about shades and building defensive walls and more talk about how beautiful you've become. Annoyed, Kaine reached up and removed the garland, but the look on her grandmother's face stopped her hand. You're a beautiful thing, said the old woman. There ain't another like you in all the world. I'm very proud of you. Okay, Grandma, that's enough goddamn compliments for one day. Such a mouth on you! Where did that come from? Gee, I wonder. I'll teach you to sass me, girl, yelled Grandma. Suddenly, she lurched forward and grabbed Kaine by the ears, pulling her around the room with a crazed grin on her face. Grandma, yelled Kaine in a quaking voice. Grandma, stop it! What the hell? The old woman stared at her and blinked, then slowly held her wrinkled hands out as if it was the first time she had ever seen them. I don't know what happened there. I'm sorry, girls. Sometimes my mind just... Kaine thought the look on her grandmother's face was the most heartbreaking thing she had ever seen. Listen, she began. Maybe I should stay home after all. No, I won't have you stay here to keep an eye on an old codger like me. You go get your fruit and your wall and whatnot. I'll be fine. And when you come back, I'll have a nice grasshopper dinner waiting for you. Kaine rolled her eyes, then kissed her grandmother on the forehead and made ready to depart, trying desperately to ignore the worry that was gnawing at the walls of her heart. Kaine could feel the old woman's eyes watching her as she moved down the path. Don't turn around, she told herself. But in the end, the temptation was too great. She spun on her heel and for one final look and saw a small, bent woman standing in front of a ramshackle hut with a sad expression on her face. Gods, she looks so old now. It's like the wind could reach down and just carry her away. Kaine worried about her grandmother all day, causing her work to suffer. What little fruit she could collect was tossed carelessly into the wheelbarrow, and she found only a couple of stones before losing interest in the project. Finally, as dusk approached, she decided to call it a day. Cursing herself for the lack of focus, Kaine pushed the nearly empty wheelbarrow back down the path. As she crested the final hill, she suddenly froze in place. The wheelbarrow fell from her fingers and collapsed on its side, sending a few pieces of wrinkled brown fruit rolling back down the hill. Her gaze was transfixed by a thick black cloud that hovered just ahead. Tracing its path with a finger, Kaine suddenly felt her stomach knot in on itself. No. Oh gods, no! Her grandmother's house was ablaze, the flames licking up as if trying to touch the sky itself. Grandma! Grandma! Kaine ran then, faster than she had ever moved in her life. Once, she tripped on a stone and went sprawling into the rocky ground, but she leapt to her feet and continued running, unmindful of the blood that spilled from her wounded hands and knees. As she got closer, Kaine's mind began to race in time with her footfalls. It's too dark, not just fire. Can't be fire, too much smoke. Gotta save her. She burst into the front yard and came to a sudden halt, her worst suspicions confirmed. Smoke from the fire was mingling with the thick, inky blackness of an enormous shade. The massive creature supported itself on 3 twisted feet and achieved balance through means of a large armored tail. Scales, horns, and claws sprouted from its body in a random, chaotic pattern, giving it the appearance of a lizard designed by some insane god. Seeing Kaine, it let out a roar and flicked its tail, sending small whirlwinds spinning around the yard. For a moment, the creature retreated into a shimmering, inky blackness, as if her mind was unable to comprehend that such a thing could actually exist. But then the smell hit her, a blend of rotted meat and excrement, and the horror became real once more. The creature bellowed again, and this time Kaine responded with a scream of her own. "All right, you bastard," she thought as her scream echoed off the high cliffs around them. "It's you or me. Let's go." The shade eyed Kaine with bemused interest. Then it began looking from her to the house and back again, as if urging her to look at the destruction it had so gleefully wrought. With dread building in her heart, Kaine glanced toward the house. Through the smoke and flames, she spotted a small figure struggling to escape the ruins. "Grandma!" At the sound of her voice, the old woman began waving frantically. "She's alive!" thought Kaine. "Alive!" Kaine's legs sprang to life as she raced across the yard toward the flaming wreckage of the house. Before she could advance more than a few steps, the shade opened its mouth and let out a roar powerful enough to uproot trees and send them flying. The blast sent Kaine tumbling through the air before smashing her against the rocky earth. Stars danced in front of her eyes as she tried to remember how her legs worked. "Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up now!" As Kaine struggled to her feet, the shade stomped toward the house and pinned her grandmother to the ground with the tip of a claw. The old woman struggled to move the claw from her stomach, but she might as well have been pushing a mountain. She coughed, briefly, sending a small spray of blood into the air, then collapsed to the ground, her energy spent. Kaine lurched to her feet, only to fall back to the earth with a gasp. Her ankles were on fire, one or both of them were surely broken. Ignoring the pain that screamed through her body, she began dragging herself across the ground, leaving a drunken tail of dust and blood in her wake. "Grandma, hold on. Just a little longer." Her grandmother's face was turning blue, her eyes rolling back until only the whites were exposed. Kaine pulled herself across the ground with maddening slowness, the distance seeming to increase with every second that passed. Shade glanced between the two women and flicked out its tongue, a giant mouth turning up at the corners. Short, panting breaths belched from somewhere deep inside its core. "Bastard! Laughing at us!" She had no idea how such a mindless creature could experience emotion, but there could be no doubt the shade was taking joy in their suffering. "Yeah, I see your plan." Shade moved its claws slightly, allowing Grandma to breathe again. It was clearly keeping her alive, only to snuff out her life when Kaine was close enough to touch her. "I'm gonna kill this bastard." Summoning all her strength, Kaine rose to her feet. There was a sickening snap from her right ankle as the foot twisted backward, but she forced it from her mind and began to hobble toward the monster. Pulling a small knife from the pouch at her waist, she leapt on the foot that pinned her grandmother and plunged the weapon deep. "Give her back!" she screamed. "Give her back to me!" It was like stabbing a rock. After a few swipes, the knife broke at the hilt with a dull snap. The shade panted laughter again, then raised its tail and sent it rushing through the air toward the young girl that was latched to its foot. Kaine never had a chance. The tail struck her square in the chest and sent her crashing into the burning wreckage of the home. As she lay on the ground with blood pouring from multiple wounds, a small, weak voice spoke up. "Kaine?" Kaine's vision blurred, but she forced herself to focus on the sound. Finally, her eyes cleared enough for her to make out her grandmother's hands reaching out to her through the smoke. "Grandma. Kaine. You gotta run. You can't best this one." Kaine grabbed the hands and held on with all her strength. "Grandma. Come on, we have to go." The old woman coughed loudly. One of her hands, slick with blood, slipped from Kaine's grasp and thumped to the ground below. "Grandma. No. No!" "I said run, goddammit. You have to live. You have to get through." The thought would stay forever unfinished. Before she could say another word, the shade's clawed foot descended, smashing through the remains of the roof and down upon the shattered figure of the old woman. Blood oozed from gaps in the creature's toes, as a terrible putrid smell assaulted Kaine's nose once again. She stared at the foot, dumbfounded, convinced that what she was seeing could not possibly be real. When the creature finally lifted its appendage, all that remained underneath was a twisted, unrecognizable mass of rubble and red. Her grandmother was gone. Kaine blinked, trying to feel the hands which had been in hers just a moment before. For a fleeting instant, she could remember the warmth of that embrace, the trembling of the fingers. Then the sensation drifted away on the breeze and was gone. Memories flashed through Kaine's mind, one after the other, faster and faster until they become a meaningless jangle of noise. Kaine screamed then, a thunderous sound that echoed off the cliffs and seemed to roll away forever. The shade eased forward, black ichor pouring from its mouth and dissolving into smoke on the ground below. The earth shook with every step as it crept toward its prey. Hello, Designer Gaze. We're in the middle of the Sharkstream Book Club. Kaine's body slowly rose as if controlled by a mad puppet master. Her arms and legs were bent at impossible angles, her head lolled dangerously to the side. Yet, somehow she managed to stand. Staring at the shade, her eyes began to glow with a deep red fire. The creature, so confident just moments before, took a slow, hesitant step backward, trying to discern if this broken human could possibly pose a threat. Kaine seized the moment. Laughing like a madwoman, she leapt into the air and plunged the shattered hilt of her knife deep into the leg of the shade. The shade shook Kaine off like a fly, sending her crashing into the earth once again. Her chest rose and fell, slowly, as if a great weight were resting on it. Moist sounds of pain echoed through her mind. Something warm and thick oozed from her ears. Is that blood? Think it is. Think I'm bleeding to death. No. Can't die. Grandma told me to live. Deep inside Kaine's mind, something finally broke. The sound, the pain, the smoke and flames, all of it faded away until all that remained was a single incantation repeated over and over again. Kill it. 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 Kill it now! As the spark that was Kaine slowly began to flicker and die, she felt her desire to kill and her desire to live blend into one. The distance between heartbeats grew longer, and longer, and longer.
The beast approaches.
Oh, I know.
Let's fucking go. It's time to defeat the beast.
Survived these past 5 years.
I'm not gonna let this happen again. It dies today.
It most certainly does. Since we've, done this before.
Strike it down.
Beast returns unstarved. Kaine is back, I think. Kaine is back again. Oh, okay. Go for the center of mass. Fuck you. I'm so fucking busted. You can't even deal with it. Wow. One sword swing. I love the Iron Will. I enjoy having big sword, is really just kind of what it comes down to. Crush, kill, destroy! Oh, he hates it. Neck snapped. Hey, Kaine, did you have a good nap? Oh, here we go. Kaine's dreams encounter. Gently, weakly, softly. The shade, sure that its tormentor was dead, turned and stomped off toward the horizon, stomping along the way to bellow one final roar. Couldn't kill it. Did you buy these automata skins? Yes. Yes, I did. I think they were like $5. Shamed beyond imagining, Kaine tried to turn her head to the side, but only succeeded in coughing up a huge gout of blood. It was getting difficult to see, and only after a moment of fierce concentration did she realize that her left eye was gone. Laughing to herself, she turned her remaining eye to the ruins of her home and noticed a ragged stump of an arm resting a few feet away. Yeah, that's mine, she thought with a mad giggle. This is going to make clapping a real bitch. Ha! Cried a sudden voice from the depths of her mind. Finally gonna die, are ya? Well, you had it coming. Go to hell, Demo, she thought at the unseen assailant. Go to hell before I pluck out your eyes and feed them to a dog. The voice of her childhood terror evaporated into smoke, only to be replaced by another, more recent voice. Oh, these are voices she remembers. Hold still, said the apothecary, materializing from the ruins like a ghost. I want to draw you. That way you can live forever. No, stop. Don't want to live forever. Want to die. Right here. I see, he said quietly. Well, if that's what you want. The spectral shopkeeper fluttered in and out of existence for a moment, then produced a piece of paper and sketched quickly. After a few seconds, he turned the page to Kaine and smiled. Since you rejected my offer, I decided to draw someone else. It was a picture of her grandmother, real as life. Kaine opened her mouth to thank the man, but stopped as the picture began to blacken in the middle. Before she could say anything, dozens of multi-legged insects began to swarm across the image, tearing at it with sharpened pincers. Stop. No! Don't hurt that picture! Kaine reached out with her remaining arm and waved futilely at the air. To her surprise, the insects fell off the picture into the ground below, where they vanished into tiny black tendrils of smoke. Relieved, Kaine turned her good eye back to the picture, only to open her mouth in a silent scream. The sketch now showed her grandmother as she truly was, a smashed, unrecognizable lump of nothing. The apothecary smiled, then broke into a jolly dance. See that? He cried as he danced his jig. It's perfect now! She looks just like you! Ha-cha-cha-cha! I look like that? Oh God. Oh God, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Drowning in despair, Kaine laid her head back in the mud and smoke of her ruined house and waited for the end to come. But just before she let everything go, an unfamiliar voice began whispering in her ear. Ain't you got a wish, sunshine? The voice was vulgar and fierce at the same time, as if insanity had somehow found a way to take form. Kaine wanted to scream as the voice crawled under her skin, but her lungs refused to work. You know, a wish. Like a prayer or something. Why don't you get on your knees and start praying to heaven? Please, invisible man in the sky, save me! Save me! Kaine finally resorted to shouting at the voice with her mind. I don't make wishes. They don't come true for me. I'm a curse. A freak. I should be left to die. The other voice boomed in her ears. Oh God, you are the best! Kaine glanced down and saw a black, shiny substance oozing from her legs. She tried to brush it away, but her remaining arm would no longer respond. The substance slowly crept around her feet and then began moving up toward the rest of her body. Is this death? Is this what it's like? Or is my mind just losing itself? She could feel the slime oozing upward, feel the hot, searing... Oh, I just bumped my mic. Feel the hot, searing pain left in its wake. Whatever else might be happening, she was still alive, and this was real. Come on, said the voice. Let it go. Kaine tried to ignore the voice and concentrate on the pain, but the newcomer would have none of it. Don't ignore me, sunshine. You're ready to give up, ready to die. So why not let me have it? Have what? Your body! Come on, give it to me! Give it to me! I want to stand on the ground, feel the rain, taste the wind! The voice paused as if licking its lips. When it resumed, it was filled with a mad, unabated joy. I want to take your hands and use them to choke the goddamn life out of people. I want to tear out their throats and bathe in the blood just like before. In response, Kaine shifted her head and vomited. The warmth of it crept down her front and mingled with the pain of the encroaching black ooze. Are you a shade?
Yeah, maybe. What of it?
The slime reached her face, crept up past her nose, and slowly oozed into the socket of her missing eye. The moment it touched her brain, Kaine was struck by the most powerful sensation she'd ever felt in her life. It was like ecstasy. She wanted to scream with delight, but all she could manage was a small, whispered moan.
Feels good, don't it?
Asked the voice with a chuckle.
Yeah, what can I say? I know how to please the ladies. Now give me that body. Come on, give me the body and I'll give you more of this feeling. It's a fair trade.
A black lump began to protrude from Kaine's side. She watched it grew longer and thicker, eventually taking the form of her missing arm. I can see better, she thought. My eye must be growing back too. The slime reached up to envelop the rest of her face, but she managed to brush it away. Stop, she whispered, marveling at how she had regained her voice. Stop. The black ooze hesitated, as if considering this request, then quickly simmered down her body before disappearing in a cloud of smoke.
Ah, what the hell, sunshine? Screamed the voice. We had a deal. I thought you wanted to die.
Grandma said, can't die yet. A brief image of her grandmother, bloodied and broken, flashed before her eyes. She saw the shade that had killed her and heard its mocking laughter, then closed her eyes and forced the image from her mind. Her whole body was quaking with rage. She opened her eyes again. They burned, bright red. That thing took my grandmother. I have to kill it before I die. Kaine glanced down and saw a mysterious pattern, the pattern of the shades, burn itself into her left arm.
Well, I'll be damned, said the voice cheerfully. Look at that, sunshine. I think you and me are going to be good friends now.
Kaine stared intently at her arm. The more emotional offense she felt, the more the letters seemed ready to puncture her skin and begin infecting the rest of her body. The arm clearly had a will of its own now. Stop. Gotta stop. Holding her left arm in her right, Kaine took a deep breath and tried to calm herself.
Come on, don't fight it, pleaded the voice. Hate's my favorite dish, and I'm hungry. Let it go. Feel the anger burn with the fire of revenge. Thirst for blood. And go out there and...
Shut up! Shut up and get the hell out of my body!
Your body? Oh, that's rich, sunshine. Real rich. Look, why don't you just shut up and die so I can have this body all to myself? What do you say? I bet those buddies of yours in the area would love to see you dead.
I'm getting, like, lightheaded doing these voices. Give me a second. The last thing I need is to pass out on stream. Kinda grabbed a nearby shard of glass and tried to saw off the shade-infected portion of her side. Before she could, her darkened left arm grabbed her right wrist, crushing it. Kaine screamed and dropped the shard as the sound of bone crunching on bone filled the air.
Stupid idiot girl. You're possessed now, sunshine. There ain't no going back.
The voice laughed again, a loud, long wail that seemed to go on without end. Possessed? Whispered Kaine.
Yeah, possessed. You and me, we got what you call a timeshare arrangement. Remember how folks used to think you were a freak? Well, wait till they get a load of you now.
Kaine looked up, tears in her eyes. The sky seemed smaller somehow, darker. Is this because of that shade? Is this how they see the world?
So, listen, purred the voice. I know this whole possession thing seems a bit sudden, but it ain't all bad. There's plenty in it for you, too. I'm a very powerful creature, sunshine. Now that power belongs to you. You got enemies? People you want to kill? I can make it happen. That little fat kid who kept picking on you, that big old shade that squashed your granny, we'll wrap them up in their own assholes. No more abuse for you, sunshine. No more pain.
Wait, said Kaine. You're a shade. Why would you help me kill another shade?
What? You think I'm some kind of racist? Some killing snob? I don't give a good goddamn who you murder, honey pants. I just want to drink from the well.
Kaine considered this as she struggled to her feet, the power of the shade coursing through her. Smoke from her house was drifting away with the wind, and she enjoyed the way the cool evening breeze felt on her new left arm. After a long pause, the voice spoke up again.
So, how about it? You and me? We could have some good times together. Look, I'll even take care of the bloody part if you don't want.
Fuck off, asshole, muttered Kaine. I'll handle the killing.
Gah! Ha ha! Screamed the voice. Look at you go! Oh, sunshine, we're gonna have so much fun. So, listen, my name's Tyran. If you ever need me, I'll just be hanging out on this piece of meat you call a heart. Now get to it. The more you kill, the more your heart turns rotten and sour. And I like rotten and sour.
Kaine found herself nodding at the voice. Yeah, she said. Yeah, I think this can work. I'm gonna find that shade. I'm gonna strangle it with its own guts. When I'm done, I'm gonna do the same to you, Tyran. Count on it.
Ha!
Laughed Tyran.
I've shit bigger than you, so good luck with that. Oh, and hey, one more thing. Right now, you and me are sharing this body, but if you ever run out of hate, if you ever, go soft, but I'm gonna take over everything. So keep on killing, sunshine. Watch your back.
The voice grew fainter and gradually faded away, fading to somewhere deep inside Kaine herself. Kaine waited until she was sure the voice had gone, then waved her new left arm around a few times. Feels perfectly normal, she thought. Feels like mine. Desperately, she began poking and prodding at the new limb, determined to find something wrong with it. She didn't want it to feel normal. I mean, the creature inside her had already won. I am not a shade. I am Kaine. Repeating this mantra in her mind, she slowly began digging through the rubble of her house, being careful to ignore a certain red-stained spot in the corner. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of heartbreaking work, she found what she was looking for. It was the wreath of lunar tears. Though it had been through hell and back, Garland's petals were as bright as ever. Kaine started to place it in her hair, then slowly lowered the wreath and stared at it. I'm sorry, Grandma. I'm so sorry. But I don't deserve to wear this anymore. I'm possessed, corrupted, a freak. And this time I don't think there's any going back. Holding the flowers to her heart, Kaine fell to the ground and sobbed. As night gradually lightened to dawn and the people of the area rose to their daily lives, she remained in that position, as if tears could somehow wash away the horror that now infected her world.
Alive! Stay alive! Stay alive!
Grandma.
Kaine, you gotta live! You gotta come back to us!
Oh, hey. Emil, you were the one calling me, weren't you?
You still recognize me?
Of course. I knew you right away.
Thank you, Kaine.
Welcome back, Kaine.
Wow, you grew up. So, how long has it been?
Oh, you know. Confession, I requested an artist to do a fan art of Kermit the Frog as pre-robotic Emil.
Shit. That's a long
I mean, he's not a robot, he's just skeletonized. Emil is actually like the only human in the cast of the game.
Any luck with Yona?
We are still no closer to finding her. We need a way to locate the Shadow Lord.
By the way, this is for you.
Is that a lunar tear?
It's not as good as your grandmother's, but I tried.
No, it's great. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Kaine waking from her long petrified sleep. Emil's unflagging kindness. Our reunion was a happy one, and we let it wash over us like rain.
But then...
That is, until Devila and Popola had to go and ruin it all. Are you kidding me? You can't be serious!
Please, try to understand. People are tired and scared, and... I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to bear the brunt of that.
This is crap, and you know it!
It's okay. We can sleep outside.
No one's sleeping outside. You and Kaine saved this village, and now they want to run you out?
I gotta plug my phone in.
People are afraid of
Shit.
us. And really, I understand.
Where's my charge
I
cord?
mean, look at me.
Can I
As
reach
long
this
as you're
without
still with
pulling out
us,
my
I can
headphones?
deal with it.
Come on.
Right, Kaine?
I'm used to sleeping outside.
There we go.
But...
We'll see you later.
Sorry about this.
That's some bullshit.
What is the matter?
Kaine always sleeps outside. I never thought about that until just now.
Maybe you should have thought about it a little bit sooner.
Never even occurred to me.
Yeah, well.
Damn it.
We should turn in.
I didn't get much sleep that night.
Sucks.
For the first time in my life, I hated Devila.
Oh, what about Popola?
For the first time in my life, I doubted Popola.
Oh, you just doubted her? So Devila gets all the
Those
hate?
feelings are pointless in the end.
Whew, if you hate and doubt them now, just wait until later.
Village. To protect it from the horror of the Shades. Really, how can I blame Devila and Popola?
Very easily, actually.
In the end, I'm just as bad.
Like, realistically speaking, you should be blaming them for a lot more.
I never once stopped to think about Kaine and Emil's situation myself.
Bleh. Wah! Unorthodox is raiding with a party of 3.
I should apologize to Kaine and Emil.
Thank you for the raid. I'm actually kind of winding down, admittedly, but I really appreciate it.
What good would that even do?
I normally would have stopped like 15 minutes ago, but we were in the middle of text adventure.
Wait, is that...
I don't think this cutscene plays the first playthrough. All good, cool model, by the way. Thank you. I appreciate that. This model was done by Audrey and B of Team Catpull, who you can find on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube at Team Catpull. That's TEAMCATPLE. They are streaming right now. We are going to be rating them once we're done here.
Yeah, me too.
I suppose I should also probably, like, before this cutscene ends, let me go ahead and do my outro. I do want to thank everybody for coming by. I hope you all had a good time. I know I did. I'm really excited. This is actually the first time that I myself had played this far into the game. Like, I've never gotten ending A on any sort of previous playthrough of NieR. At the very least, not on the Gestalt version. So, this is going to be fun, getting to see all of this firsthand. I am familiar with how the game plays out. I know the story, so I don't feel quite as comfortable doing the, like, putting on, like, the first playthrough tag. But, yeah, so we'll be, I'm playing NieR Automata, though. Nice, nice. NieR Automata is really good. I'm planning to play that once I finish this. What was I fucking saying? I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I really like NieR. Replicant, Gestalt, Automata. It's all really good. Didn't really get too far in the gacha. Gachas aren't exactly my style of game, unfortunately, so. But, like, the story for that one seems neat. I'm losing my train of thought here. If you want to keep up with future streams, you can subscribe here on Twitch. We have special emotes for subscribers. You can also follow me on Twitter at @Sane_intolerant or on YouTube at youtube.com/SaneIntolerant, where I post all my streams after they happen. I'm also going to start... oh, thank you for the follow on Orthofox. I'm also going to start trying to, like, cross-promote to Tumblr as well. My Tumblr is saneintolerant.tumblr.com. Boo, what else? Art for the stream. The thumbnail art was also done by Audrey and B of Team Catful, in addition to the VTuber model here. Don't email them. That's true. Hi, Venom Lad. After playing for 7 hours, though, my fingers hurt. Ain't that the truth?
I tried everything I could think of to save you, you know.
I don't know how long this cutscene's gonna be.
I polished you with a special cloth. I poured warm water over you.
Wait, you poured water on me?
Yeah, but it didn't really do much except make you all shiny.
This is a cute cutscene.
Hey, Emil. Thanks for saving me.
I guess you noticed how I look different now.
I'm sorry, Emil. I'm sorry for all of it.
Well, I mean, this new form isn't all bad, you know? At least I can look at you when we talk, right? Hey, so why don't you tell me something about yourself?
I'm not very interesting. Sorry.
Come on. I just want to know you better.
Haven't gotten the other endings, but have a good stream. You have a good day.
Fine. This all happened when I was a kid. Before the whole shade possession thing.
I'm gonna get the raid set up. Well, I'm just kind of working through this.
My body is different. And when the villagers found out about it, they started treating me like a freak.
Was this in the original game?
But one person,
I don't actually know.
accepted me just as I was. No matter how bad things got, she gave me the strength to keep going.
That's one of the important things to remember about to know about Kaine is that she is physically different even beyond the shade possession. I might get a bit more into that next week.
She's really special to you, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, hey! That gives me an idea. Since we cured your petrification, we should start looking for a way to cure your possession and my body. I know we can do it if we all work together. Heck, it'll probably be super easy.
Super easy.
Let me guess. More warm water?
Okay. Can we just forget I told you about that?
Aww. What a cute cutscene. NieR, you could go spend time with them. Like, it's okay. Can I save my game yet?
Sleep well?
Sure.
And yet your red eyes tell a different tale. Don't be so hard on yourself, lad.
I need to go see Devila and Popola.
Very well.
Okay, we have some things in our house here. Give me a second, just before we continue onward. Let's pick this up. Gold Moonflower Seed. 900 gold. And what's this?
What might that be?
It's Mom's diary.
I've not heard you speak much about your mother.
She got the Black Scrawl and died when I was little.
My apologies for bringing it up.
It's all right. I can barely remember her face anymore. This is the only thing I have left of her. Reading it helps remind me of when we were still a family.
I see.
But the final entries get a little strange.
In what way?
Well, here, take a look.
Saving. System data saved. Oh, fuck. Are we just going right in?
Say there. Can you not hear me?
So this is the only...
Why are
Oh,
you
hold on.
standing about like a slack-jawed ninny?
Sorry. Felt like I was
dreaming or something.
Ah!
Sleeping on one's feet is quite the talent indeed.
That's Dad NieR's voice actor.
Right. Let's go.
That's great. I'm so glad that he's back for this. So this is the only in each version of the game, Replicant and Gestalt, the DLC is the only time when you can play as the opposite game's version of NieR. I think generally the implication is that in Gestalt, when you're playing as the brother NieR, that's essentially the younger version of Dad NieR, whereas when you're playing Replicant and you play as Dad NieR in the DLC, it's essentially their father. We're not going to do that, though. We're going to leave, because I need to go. We got to leave. Papa NieR and Sojiro share the same English VA. Ooh, I didn't know that. That'll be a fun thing to mention to Audrey and B.
My word.
Something wrong?
I feel as if I've just awoken from a most unpleasant dream.
I know what you mean. That happens to me whenever I read it.
I think that's so cool that there's like... I forgot that there's dialogue in that. Okay, saves my game. We're going to need to pick up some of those quests again, but that's fine. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. We're going to stick around for the cat parade, but I want to thank everybody for coming by, and I'll see you next time on the Shark Stream. Same Shark time, same Shark channel. Take care, everyone.